By definition, a professional athlete is someone who gets paid full-time for doing their sport. The first thing that we need to think about is how we treat ourselves and how we perceive ourselves. If you want to end up being a professional athlete, you need to treat yourself like a professional athlete. This means you need to take your training serious, you need to take your recovery serious, your nutrition, your sleep, and just your daily lifestyle. You almost have to act like you're a professional athlete before you're an athlete. I understand people will have jobs, whether it's 9 to 5, whether it's shift work, but outside of work, you need to commit to being a professional athlete. My second point would be thinking about the people that you're surrounded by. You want to be surrounded by like-minded people, people who support you, and you want to almost start to build out a team. If you look at any professional athlete across the globe, they're not doing it alone. They have a team. Number one is a good coach. Someone who you can bounce ideas off, explaining why you're doing your training, why you're recovering the way that you are, why you need to sleep and fuel your body. I think it's important to have someone in your corner like this. You're not second guessing yourself all the time. You actually have someone to speak to and get opinions from. Make sure that you're asking questions and you're asking why you're doing every single exercise within the gym. I think the gold standard is having someone in person, because they can pick up on things that you might not see. They can also push you a little bit harder if it's in person. On the days that you're not really feeling it, they come in with good energy and they lift you up, and you just have a better time overall. I think a good coach is someone who treats coaching as a lifestyle and more than just a job. In their spare time, they're researching, they're sending you stuff, they're constantly in communication with you, and they're not just a 9 to 5 worker. Someone else that you need in your team is someone who's going to help you with content. Content is a key part of your personal brand and your image, and you need to be seen as someone who's putting effort into this. I like to have a mentor. My mentor is a good friend, but someone who's maybe experienced what you're going through. And it doesn't have to be in your sport. It might be in business, it might be in something else, but someone who genuinely wants the best for you, but also has experience. I think this person should be someone who isn't scared to call you out on your bullshit. You also need people around you that support you no matter what, no matter if you've done well in a competition, whether you've done bad in a competition, they're there for you, and they're there to pick you up when you're broken. Just have great people around you, and if you don't have that at the moment, then try and find that. And I know that's easier said than done. So the next point I want to touch on is facing the fact that you're going to have to make sacrifices. To become a professional athlete, you're not going to have a good balance between your training, your work, your relationships, and your social life. So that might mean saying no to social occasions. You might see your friends less. You might sleep more. I don't think there's any professional athlete out there that isn't selfish. The way you get around this though, and the way that you keep them relationships, is have the honest conversations with the people around you and specify your goals and explain this is where you want to go and this is where you want to be, and these are the steps that I need to take in order to get there, and hopefully they'll understand and support you. You're competing in competitions, you may be winning, but to make a living and to get to the point where sponsors are interested in you, you've got to look at your personal brand. Your personal brand means so much in today's day and age. I think the term athlete and the term influencer is becoming blended, and I think for especially like lone sports and sports where you're competing on your own, or they may not have as much money as team sports like the NFL or professional football. Instead, you've got to document your journey, and you've got to be sellable. You've got to be a role model to the people that are looking up to you. You've got to create engaging content, whether it's educational, whether it's entertaining, or whether it's just inspiring. And you've got to create trust. You only say the things that you truly believe in. This means not giving into fads. If you advertise something that you don't use and is inauthentic to you, you're going to get found out. People are going to see straight through it, and then you're going to lose trust. So, how do you actually get a sponsor? First of all, you need to be doing well in competition. Secondly, you need to be creating great content. I think this is a must, especially within sports that maybe don't have incredible prize money. For example, high rocks. You need sponsors. So, making sure that you're documenting your journey and you're creating a following that are intrigued and are interested in the things that you are saying, you are doing, and are looking up to you almost like a role model. It takes a lot longer than people think. I've done 1,600 posts on Instagram, and I'd say 90% of them have been took by a professional videographer or photographer. That's to kind of build that trust, build that following, and document it. I'm not saying it takes this long, sometimes it's quicker, especially if you get the results. Like if you come straight into, say we're talking about high rocks, you come straight into the Elite 15 and you win, you're going to have sponsors looking at you straight away. But I'm talking about if you're not doing that, you need to create a story. And this story needs to be authentic to you, and you also need to think about how are you going to be different to everyone else within that space. Be selective with the brands that you work with and make sure that they are good people, first of all, and they align with you and your message. You should never just give in for a big paycheck. That'll come to bite you later down the line. I think if you're getting into becoming a professional athlete because you want to make shitloads of money, you're in it for the wrong reasons. I invest everything that I make back into the business, back into making more content, and that's just the cycle that I'm in. You come to a point in your career where you have two businesses, both offering you a sum of money to work with them. You've got to make the right call in what's right for you, what's going to be most beneficial to your performance, whilst taking kind of money out of it. I think the last thing that you should do is look at the actual sum of what a brand is offering. I think you've also got to see every sponsor not just as a transactional thing where they pay you and you promote their product. It's more of a relationship between you and the brand. And you want to be of value to them. You want to give ideas. You want to get to know the people in the brand and try and make that brand become better. And if you can do that, then they're going to value you more. And this is when we create long-term relationships. At the end of the day, if you want to be a professional athlete, you've got to walk the walk. So this means showing up to competition and doing well and winning competitions. I'm not saying that you need to go and win competitions straight away, but a nice quote that I like to live by is you either win or you learn. And if you don't win in a competition, you don't place where you want to place, then you analyse why that didn't happen and you go again and you never give up. Nobody on earth is an overnight success. Everything is earned, and this might take months, it might take years, more than likely years, and you've got to kind of see it like that. You don't just wake up one day thinking, I want to be a professional athlete, and then it happens. You've got to focus, and you've got to be dedicated for years. Within this journey, you're going to have highs, you're going to have lows, and I think throughout it all, you need to maintain a positive mindset. And sometimes this is hard. Sometimes you're going to want to give up, and you're going to want to pack it in. And sometimes you wish that you just had a normal job and you didn't have the pressure of competing or proving yourself day in, day out. But it is worth it, and as long as you don't give up and you have the right people around you, you can achieve it.